Welcome to the channel. Tonight, we'll explore 5 quiet hauntings across Australia. A lonely road, a beach touched by tragedy, an asylum where the past still lingers, a country hotel where time feels paused, and a grand home with secrets that remain. There will be no ads after 10 minutes. The screen will go dark, and the stories will continue. Now let's begin. If you're driving down Wilfred Barrett Drive late at night, you may want to keep your eyes peeled. This stretch of road near Norville on the central coast of New South Wales is infamous for one of Australia's most chilling ghost sightings, a phantom hitchhiker said to haunt the roadside. Since the 1970s, drivers have reported seeing a young woman in a flowing white dress standing on the shoulder of the road. She doesn't wave. She doesn't speak. She just stares. Those who have stopped to offer help often report that she vanishes before their eyes. In other accounts, she silently appears in the backseat of moving vehicles, only to disappear without a trace. Local legend says she was a teenager abducted and murdered near the area decades ago. Though no official case has confirmed this story, her presence is a consistent and eerie part of Central Coast folklore. Some believe she's trying to warn others. Others say she's simply lost, doomed to relive her final moments. A well-known sighting from 1998 involved a man who picked up a silent, visibly shaken girl near the roadside. She pointed ahead, but disappeared before they reached Dixon Beach. Another woman in 2003 felt a chilling breath on her neck after seeing the figure, but found no one there when she stopped the car. The ghost's proximity to Dixon Beach, another hotspot for paranormal sightings, has linked the two locations in the public's imagination. Paranormal researchers and psychics have visited the area, with many claiming to detect strange energy, cold spots, and flickering electronics. Coverage from the local news has kept the story alive for decades, often revisiting the legend with new testimonies. In 2019, dashcam footage showing a white figure on the road stirred online debate, adding new fuel to the mystery. Though blurry, the clip was enough to reignite interest in the legend and draw more visitors to the site, some seeking answers, others seeking a thrill. Today, the phantom hitchhiker of Wilfred Barrett Drive remains one of Australia's most well-known ghost stories. Her tale is not just a scary story told around a campfire. It's a living legend that continues to unsettle those who cross her path. Just off Wilfred Barrett Drive sits Dixon Beach, a well-known stretch of sand on the Central Coast. While it's a popular spot during the day, after dark, many locals have reported strange experiences. For decades, stories have circled about a ghostly young woman who roams the beach at night. She's said to appear in a white dress, barefoot, with long dark hair blowing in the sea breeze. Sometimes she's spotted near the dunes, other times walking along the shoreline. Some say she just stares out to sea. Others claim she lifts her hand, as if asking for help. The yarn goes that she was a teenage girl, abducted and attacked back in the 70s. Her body was left not far from here, and her spirit's been restless ever since. It's never been officially confirmed. No records or charges have ever surfaced that match the story exactly, but the legend has stuck around. Locals reckon the beach hasn't been the same since. There are plenty of people who say they've felt her presence. Some report hearing footsteps behind them when there's no one around. Others say their phones randomly switch off, torches flicker, or they suddenly get hit with a freezing gust of wind, even on still, warm nights. A few have even claimed to see her standing in the surf, motionless, before vanishing without a sound. A group of night fishermen once reported seeing a figure standing at the shoreline. They said she appeared to be staring out to sea, completely still. When they called out to her, she didn't respond, and within seconds, she vanished. The group later told a local paper they felt an eerie silence settle over the beach afterward. Jenny Dixon Beach's story isn't just spooky campfire talk. It's been covered by local news, featured in regional ghost tours, and shared in hundreds of social media posts over the years. There's something about it that sticks with people. Maybe it's the injustice of her story, or maybe it's because too many have seen her for it to be written off as nothing. Whatever the case, if you ever find yourself near Jenny Dixon Beach after dark, don't be surprised if you feel like someone's watching. And if you see a girl in white standing by the water's edge, well, maybe just keep walking. In the quiet hills of Ararat, Victoria, rests one of the country's most well-known abandoned sites, Aradale Asylum. Built in 1867, the asylum was once a vast complex of wards, courtyards, and treatment rooms. It housed thousands of patients over more than a century, with many never leaving. By the time it closed, over 13,000 people had died within its walls. Though its purpose was care, history suggests something more complex: isolation, outdated treatment methods, and the forgotten stories of those who lived and worked there. The building now stands mostly empty, but those who visit say something still lingers. The moment you step inside, the silence feels heavier than normal. Visitors describe the air as cold, even on warm nights, and many report a sudden, unexplainable sense of unease. Some speak of distant footsteps in locked corridors. Others say they feel watched, even when no one is around. One commonly reported figure is a woman, thought to be a nurse from the early 1900s. Described as calm but haunting, she's seen walking the women's ward, her uniform crisp, her face unreadable. She's often spotted just out of reach, passing through doorways or appearing in reflections before fading away. In the old shock therapy room, guests have reported headaches, nausea, and a strong sense of pressure, almost like stepping into another atmosphere. A few have even felt tingling in their hands, as though the room holds on to something from the past. Then there's the morgue, tucked in a quiet corner of the building. The room feels untouched by time. Visitors often report sudden cold spots and malfunctioning electronics, cameras that refuse to focus, phones that shut off without warning. Some have claimed to hear whispers when the room is otherwise empty. Paranormal investigators have spent years documenting these experiences. Recordings taken in the halls have captured faint voices, unexplained noises, and static bursts. During one session, a team left a recorder overnight in one of the wards. When they returned, the playback revealed a soft voice repeating the same word over and over. No one had been in the building during the recording, and yet, not every experience is frightening. Some say they feel a deep sadness here, as if the building remembers. It isn't loud. It isn't aggressive. It's just there, quiet, persistent, and waiting. If you visit, you may not see anything at all, but you'll feel something. So step softly, listen closely, and if you hear footsteps that aren't yours, well, some say that's when Aradale begins to speak. In the quiet town of Kapunda, South Australia, there's an old sandstone building that carries more than just the weight of its years. The North Kapunda Hotel, established in the 1800s, is one of the oldest licensed pubs in the state. Today, it's still serving drinks and meals, but it's also known for something else entirely. Stories of unexplained sounds, shifting shadows, and mysterious figures have followed this place for generations. The building once housed a brothel on the upper floor. Some visitors say they've seen the faint outline of women in long skirts drifting across the hallways upstairs. Others have heard the distinct sound of footsteps, slow, steady, and just a little too close, on wooden floorboards when the rooms are empty. One particular room, said to have belonged to the brothel's madam, is the focus of many of these stories. Then there's the tale of a man who, many years ago, was reportedly beaten to death near the back of the hotel. Staff working late have spoken of raised voices coming from that direction, loud and angry, followed by silence. When they check, there's no one there. In 2023, a property inspector visiting the hotel took a photo inside. Later, they noticed something unusual in the image. Standing near a doorway was a figure that hadn't been visible at the time. Dressed in old-fashioned clothes, the man in the photo seemed to be watching from the shadows. The image was shared online, sparking quiet curiosity from those who had heard the hotel's reputation. Paranormal investigators have spent time at the North Kapunda Hotel too. Their findings include sudden drops in temperature, unexplained battery drains, and voice recordings that seem to capture faint whispers. Not dramatic, not theatrical, just the sort of quiet disturbances that leave people wondering what they've really experienced. The current staff are calm about it all. They say strange things do happen from time to time, but there's no fear. If anything, there's a respectful curiosity. Visitors are welcome to explore the building, hear its history, and decide for themselves what they believe. These days, the hotel offers guided tour, where where guests can walk through its old rooms, hear the stories, and maybe feel a little of the atmosphere for themselves. It's not about proving anything. It's about sharing a space where history still lingers in the corners. So if you ever find yourself in Kapunda, stop by the North Kapunda Hotel. You might just enjoy a quiet meal, or you might notice a gentle chill in the air, a soft sound behind you, or a moment that makes you pause just long enough to wonder. Monte Cristo Homestead is a Victorian manor built in 1885 in the rural town of Junee, New South Wales. With its distinct architecture and hilltop view of the surrounding area, it stands out as one of the most well-preserved heritage homes in the region. But for many, it's not the design or history that draws attention. It's the frequent reports of unexplained activity. The homestead was originally built by Christopher Crawley, a local farmer and businessman who prospered after the arrival of the railway in Junee. Crawley and his wife, Elizabeth, lived in the home with their 7 children. Over the years, various tragic events were recorded in connection to the property, many of which have become part of the home's enduring reputation. One of the most often discussed stories involves a stable boy who died after being badly burned in a fire on the property. His presence is still talked about by visitors and staff, with reports of a sudden smell of smoke or the sound of soft crying near the stables. Another story involves a young child who was dropped down the main staircase, reportedly by a nanny. The child did not survive the fall. According to current owners, children visiting the property sometimes become upset or refuse to enter the area near the stairs without knowing anything about its history. Perhaps the most distressing report involves a man named Harold who is said to have lived in a small, locked stone room on the property for many years. Believed to have had a mental disability, he was reportedly kept in confinement until the Crawleys passed away and the property was vacated. After being discovered, he was sent to a hospital nearby where he later died. Visitors to the room he was kept in have described an overwhelming sense of discomfort and sadness. Since taking ownership of Monte Cristo, the Ryan family, who have maintained the home since the 1960s, have spoken openly about their own experiences. They've reported footsteps when no one is around, flickering lights, furniture moving slightly on its own, and voices echoing through empty hallways. One of the Ryans has said he once felt pushed while walking up the stairs. Guests on the homestead's public tour have also shared their stories. Some say they've captured unexplained figures in photographs. Others describe hearing footsteps, whispering voices, or doors closing without a breeze. Tour groups often pause in specific rooms where activity is most often reported, and guides encourage visitors to speak up if they notice anything unusual. The homestead has been featured on multiple television programs, including segments on Australian current affairs shows and paranormal documentaries. It's regularly cited in lists of Australia's most haunted places and continues to attract tourists, history buffs, and paranormal researchers. Despite the eerie reports, Monte Cristo remains a heritage-listed property and an important part of the town's identity. It offers regular tours, overnight stays, and historical events aimed at sharing both the legacy of the Crawley family and the unusual experiences that have become part of the home story. Whether the activity is the result of spirits or simply the weight of history, Monte Cristo Homestead remains one of the most consistently talked about locations in Australia when it comes to alleged hauntings.